last day and a half, because you guys sometimes I wonder if you were just separated at birth or what. But
it's
Todd
difficult.
McShay, welcome.
It's difficult to function, Boom.
Thanks for making room for me.
McShay.
Appreciate it. It's good to see you, my man.
Good to have you here, man. We got a lot to talk about in round 3,
Yep.
and a lot of quarterbacks still to be taken.
Still on the board, yep.
They made me sit on the water cooler.
You know what? This is what happens. Bringing the new out with the old. We're old news. We'll be back. Round 3 in New York.
Hey there, little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. You're everything. Big bad wolf, the wall.
Your turbocharged Volvo S60. All the better to drive you with.
What's the wolf say?
Right now, lease your S60 T5 for $299 a month and pay nothing to repair or maintain your Volvo for 5 years.
I have the right to a guarantee that my rate is the lowest on the web. Do I ask for too much?
Kinda, sometimes.
It's your voice, it's yourchoicehotels.com, where you'll always get the best internet rate guaranteed or your first night's free. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
What? You got a dog?
Yeah, he's a rescue dog. Name's Wego.
What kind of name is that?
Call him.
Here we go.
No. Yep.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Thank you. Here we go.
It's the sure sign of a good time. Just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Instead, try the new Subway Smokehouse Barbecue Chicken. Big barbecue taste, 6 grams of fat. Subway, eat fresh.
When you have cable and your picture freezes, you get irritable. When you get irritable, your work suffers. When your work suffers, the wrong man is convicted. When the wrong man is convicted, he has time to think. When he has time to think, he thinks about you a lot. And when he thinks about you a lot, your house explodes. Don't have your house explode. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. This week, it's a playoff rematch between the Rays and the defending AL champion Rangers on baseball's biggest stage. 3-time All-Star Evan Longoria leads Tampa Bay against Texas's Josh Hamilton, who's lighting up April.
Hamilton sends a ball to deep center. Gone!
Along with one of the best lineups in the game. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Rays Rangers at 8 on ESPN.
Welcome back to ESPN's coverage of the NFL Draft. Rams general manager Jeff Snead told me that his commitment tonight with his picks had to do with their desire to be difference makers in the category of coaching and development, specifically with their headliners and wide receiver Brian Quick, who didn't even start playing football until his senior year in high school, and then also with cornerback Janoris Jenkins, who some say has the talent to rival Morris Claiborne, but also may need oversight in the character department. Now for more on the Dolphins, here's Rachel Nichols.
Well, the Dolphins have back-to-back picks in the 3rd round, number 72 and number 73, but I am told they are actively trying to trade up. As they sit there in the draft room, they are just seeing too many of the guys they want go off their board to other teams, and they have needs here. They want a defensive playmaker, preferably a pass rusher to bookend Cameron Wake, and they need a wide receiver. Brandon Marshall made up nearly 40% of their passing offense last season. They've got to replace him. Now let's go to the Jets and Sal Palantonio.
Rachel, why would the New York Jets devote a 5th-round pick and a 7th-round pick to move up in the 2nd round for a wide receiver? Because Stephen Hill of Georgia Tech fits the bill. He's a big, tall, fast wide receiver who can stretch the field, keep the safety out of the box, and then block on the edges. Exactly what Tony Sparano, the new offensive coordinator of the Jets, wants in a wide receiver so that he can run the football. Now, in the 3rd round, look for the Jets to get more depth on the offensive line. Here's Bob Holtzman in Cleveland.
Well, Sal, thank you. The Browns had 4 big areas of need. They feel like they've already filled 3 of them. They wanted to upgrade the offense. They've done that, choosing a running back, a quarterback, and an offensive lineman so far. Their next priority will be a wide receiver. They'd also at some point like to add some depth in the secondary, probably with the cornerback. The good news for the Browns is they came into this draft with 13 picks. They traded some of them away, but they still have 7 more to go. Now for an update on the Cowboys, here's Ed Werder.
Thanks, Bob. The Cowboys have had to wait 75 picks to make another choice after the trade up for Morris Claiborne, the cornerback from LSU. Potential areas of need still that they could go with this pick. Tight end, Jason Witten, the longest tenured Cowboys player on the roster. Outside linebacker, pass rusher DeMarcus Ware had 19.5 sacks. The rest of the team just 22.5. And then interior offensive line for Tony Romo, who was sacked a career high 39 times last season.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you, everybody. We get you caught up. So we talked about Johnson and Robinson go to their respective teams, defensive backs. Coach, I know you love Ronnie Hillman, running back. San Diego State goes to Denver. Posey wide. We'll do this first. So the Broncos have a tool for Peyton Manning.
Listen, this is one of my favorite players in this draft. If you like Darren Sproles, Chris, you're going to like this kid. Very similar in size. Led the division in rushing with 1,719 scores, caught 24 passes. There's not a thing this guy can't do when he has his hands on the football. 23 carries a game, so you know he's tough. Marginal at times in pass protection, but what I like about Hillman is he did it in 2 different systems. Coach Hoke left, went to Michigan. It doesn't matter what formation you put him in. He's effective running and receiving. If he can improve in pass protection, this is going to be a real weapon for Peyton Manning when he checks the ball down.
So here's what the Broncos, who remember do not have a first-round pick, have done. D-tackle Wolf, the big, tall, 6'7" Osweiler, learned the craft under Peyton Manning, and now someone to help the Broncos move the football. Now Mel Posey going to Houston.
Goes to the Houston Texans. It's an opportunity. You think about the lack of depth there at wide receiver. That was a neat area. You look at a kid 6'2", nearly 210 pounds, adjusts his body well, good body control overall, very athletic kid, 36.5 vertical. Hands, I thought, a little inconsistent. This year, suspended, that 5-game suspension twice, only played in 3 games. That was that NCAA suspension. So minimal productivity, so he had to go back to when he caught 60 passes as a sophomore, 53 as a junior. But I thought, and I labeled him as a kid, he can make your draft or break your heart. You can either hit the jackpot or you can kind of fall by the wayside. So for the Houston Texans, get him to put it all together, maintain a level of consistency, and maybe you have something.
Of course, Andre Johnson was hurt some. I mean, the Houston Texans are clearly a team favored now. After all these years of never making the playoffs, favored now again to repeat as division champs. I mean, it just sounds wrong. But, of course, it's ancient history now that Peyton Manning and the Colts are winning 10, 12, 14 games all the time. So here's what the Texans have done thus far. Now, the Buffalo Bills, a team on the rise, what don't they have? A speed receiver opposite Stevie Johnson.
Boom, boom, you're going to like this pick. I think T.J. Graham is one of the more underrated receivers in this draft. He plays out of the slot. He's got to learn how to get off the press better. Not a big physical receiver, but he can fly. He ran a 4.39 in the 40-yard dash. He's not only good stretching the field vertically and after the catch, but also in the return game. He had 4 returns for touchdowns combined as a punt returner and kick returner. I think he can come in right away, contribute as a slot receiver, help take the top off of a defense, as you see there, the ability to get down the field, and also push for a starting job as the team's punt returner.
You know, the Bills lead, even though they lost Roscoe Parrish, they have McKee, who was once a really good returner, McKelvin, who was once, I know they're all hurt, Spiller can do it. Right. They get this. They lead the league in return men. Now, unfortunately, you can't play about 6 at one time, but they do need a speed receiver. They're circling the wagons on returns, I'm telling you.
Are you from Buffalo?
I am now. I got the key to the city, the front door, the back door, and the garage door opener. We'll be back.
Nas's new single, The Don, is now available on iTunes.
This is the reinvented police officer. He's also a masseuse. These are reinvented curtains. They are made of pizza. The reinvented DMV. It's a little nicer.
Next!